Good morning. You are looking live at the headquarters of the Kima Real Estate Group. I am here this morning with my good buddy. Come here, Ozzy. Come here. Come up. With my good buddy Ozzy. You guys can see Big Ozzy's with me this morning. Right here in Wake Forest on a beautiful, beautiful day. A little cooler today than it has been. Not that it's cool, mind you, but a little cooler than it has been. Anyhow, good morning. Let me get back to this, okay, buddy? So I raise my Kima cup to you. I hope you have your Kima cup. And if you don't have a Kima cup, and you want a Kima cup, let me know. We mail them all over the country. Let us know if you need a Kima cup or if your old Kima cup is no longer in good shape and you need a refill or a new one, rather. Let me know. I'll tell you what they're best at. They're best at holding cold drinks and hot coffees from Dunkin' Donuts, baby. Anyhow, super excited this morning. Ozzy, give me a few minutes, okay? Give me a few minutes, pal. Super excited this morning. And by the way, I saw somebody recently say that they hate when people say super excited. You know, we are so sensitive now. Why can't you say super excited? I am super excited to be here this morning. I will tell you what I'm not super excited about is at 5:36 this morning, we lost power at my house. And so, which means hot water tanks are cooling off right now, which means my boys were going to wake up to cold showers today. Anyhow, I'm excited. I am super excited to be here today. By the way, what are you drinking this morning? I'd love to know what you're drinking in your Kima cup. Does anybody know what today is? Like what national day today is? Ozzy, I love you. It's not National Ozzy Day, I can tell you that. But do you know what national day it is today? So 3 or 4 things. It's National Comic Con Day. I don't really understand what Comic Con really means or what that really is. It is coffee time lump. I hope you've got yours, brother. But I really don't understand what Comic Con is and what that really means. I know people love it. I mean, it draws thousands and thousands of people, but it's National Comic Con Day. For those of you that get dressed up as superheroes, God bless you. Live life, be you, man. That's awesome. Not my thing. I'm much more conservative. I have my head on my shoulders. I would never dress up like that. That doesn't include 16 or 17 Sundays in the fall where I paint my face, eat good food, and cheer like crazy for my Las Vegas Raiders, man. Of course I wouldn't get dressed up like somebody else. Still wearing my old Kenny Stabler jersey. Love me some Kenny Stabler. Every day should be Aussie Day. Yes, sir, Coach. Good to see you, buddy. You know what else today is? Today's National Edward Day. Who in the hell determines what the national day is going to be? And why can't there be a National Kima Day? There should be a National Kima Day. And if all I've got to do is declare it, I'm declaring it right now. And I'll pick a day later on. But we're going to have a National Kima Day. But National Edward Day, my oldest son, Cole, his middle name is Edward. So shout out to you, Coco, this morning, buddy. It's also National but this one will be, for those of you that are my age, you'll appreciate this one. No Pet Store Puppies Day. Do you remember when we were kids, you'd go to the mall, there'd be a store, and in the window, there'd be like a pile of puppies on top of each other? You'd go to the mall, you could buy a puppy at the mall. It was crazy to think that. It's crazy now to think that, but that's what we used to do. People would go to the mall, and they'd fall in love with a puppy and walk out with one, man. I have not seen a pet store like that. Matter of fact, I don't think are there pet stores anymore, other than like where you can go buy goldfish or, I don't know, for those of you that are into fish, all that kind of stuff, and hamsters, and I wouldn't even know where to go to do all those kinds of things anymore. And then finally, today is National Junk Food Day, which leads me to this. I am a bachelor, and I forgot what it's like to be a bachelor. I'll be honest with you. And I'm not very good at it anymore. In my original bachelor days, I had no problem throwing down partying, staying up all night, having a blast, right? My wife is out of town for a little bit less than 2 weeks, and I'm finding myself in bed by 10, struggling to get out of bed. I got to do some laundry, feed the kids, all that kind of stuff. It is not the same bachelorhood that it was back in my 20s. Things have certainly changed quite a bit. Maybe we can rectify that this weekend. We'll see. But damn, if being a bachelor today means something different. When my kids were little, and they're 19 and 16 now, but when they were little, man, they would love it when their mom would leave town. And I don't mean that negatively, but when Jen would go out of town, I would get them so fired up because Jen doesn't allow them to eat food in the living room, right? That's since changed. Obviously, they're teenagers. But when they were little, they couldn't eat in the living room. And so when she would leave, I'd whisper in their ears, hey, Mom's leaving tomorrow. And they would go crazy knowing what that meant. That meant we're going to get pizza in the living room, baby. And we put on sports. I've got pictures through the years. If I find one, I'll post it on this thread. But pictures through the years of the kids plowing through some pizza in the living room, eating around the coffee table. And so to this day, it still rings true with those guys. Like, hey, we're having pizza in the living room. So maybe this weekend we'll do a little pizza in the living room. Pizza on the couch, mama. There you are. Yep, every single time. But yeah, so we'll see. But that, today being National Junk Food Day just kind of reminded me of that. I got to think about Jen being out of town. I've got some from you, Coach. Thanks to you, we're gonna have some short ribs this weekend. I'm gonna finally. I defrosted the final pack of short ribs that you gifted me. We're gonna do some short ribs this weekend. I don't know if we'll eat those in the living room though. Talk about. I was talking about with somebody else about how there are certain people in life that can just take a bad situation and make it a good situation. I'm trying to find this guy's name, Phil Stringer. I couldn't remember his name. So Phil Stringer, if you don't know him, he's a real estate broker out of the Greensboro market here in North Carolina, but he's made international news. See, he was catching a flight back from Oklahoma City to Charlotte. This is about a month ago. And he got delayed and delayed and delayed. Ended up being 18 hours of delay, right? And he hung in there, just waited. Most people go out and rebook a flight, that kind of thing. So his flight got delayed all the way until 12-something that morning, that night, early the next morning. And so he shows up at the gate, and there's nobody at the gate except for the people checking in that work for the airline. Well, he shows up at the gate thinking, oh my goodness, I must be late. They must have boarded already because there's no other passengers. He boards the plane. He's the only passenger on this plane. Everybody else went out and rebooked. They had to call the stewardesses. Do they call them stewardesses? What do they call them? Flight attendants? They had to call the flight attendants out of their hotels to come back. The pilots, everybody came back. Full flight crew came back. They boarded, went through the whole process, and he was the only guy on the plane. So he took lots of video. They chatted the whole time, and together they said, "You know what? It's a bad situation. Let's just make some fun of this." Today, that video has over 10 million views. He has now booked flights to go back to their home base and have dinner with all the flight crew and the pilots back down in Dallas, which is their home base. And this guy is living it up. Right? You talk about taking a bad situation, 18-hour delay, and turning it into gold, man. So, shout out to Phil Stringer today, man. I thought that was pretty cool. Chris Moore, if you're watching this, I'm looking at you, right? Florida, probably my least favorite state. And for those of you that love Florida, I'm sorry that you do. You just haven't been to New England or North Carolina yet, and that's why you love Florida so much. But Florida is a place that I will never move to. I'm going to just throw that out there now. Never say ever, never say never, whatever. I'm saying never, right? And now I've got reason number 143 why I will not move there. Apparently, Burmese pythons are an invasive species in Florida. For those of you that don't know, that's a big snake, and it is a big snake. The record-breaking size snake was just caught last week down there in Florida. It was 19 feet long. To give you some perspective of how long 19 feet is, that's as tall as a giraffe. But this snake, the way they caught it, they were in a boat in a swamp, and the snake lunged at them. One of the guys grabbed him by the tail, wrestled him into the boat. A 19-foot python, man. Listen, there could be a 6-inch garden snake in my driveway, and I'm shoveling the heck out of that snake. For those of you that are PETA and everything, I'm sorry. Snakes aren't living on my property. Anyhow, completely nuts. 19-foot python. I couldn't believe it. That is one of many reasons why I would move to Florida, but that is reason enough not to move to Florida as far as I'm concerned. Yesterday was a pretty special day. I learned something yesterday. So yesterday, myself and Jonathan Williams, who I love, one of the owners at Focus Design Builders, we had the opportunity to talk to a leadership group here in Wake Forest, a group of about 20 kids, sophomores, as Woody Durham from the Tar Heels used to say, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, from a variety of high schools that are taking a Leadership Academy course. And they brought us in to speak to them about being civically involved, right? Why it's important to be involved in your community and give back to your community. And that could take, that doesn't necessarily mean volunteering, although that's a big way to do it, right? Being civically involved could be voting, could be a lot of these things. So we came in and we tried to bring the heat. So we had eye black on because, it's a contact sport, man. Being out there, if you're going to get involved in your community, it's a contact sport. It's not just writing a check on occasion. You actually have to get involved, right? But we had a chance to meet with these kids And I was so impressed by many of the kids that were there yesterday. Some of them were teenagers and just being teenagers. But there were several leaders in that room yesterday that gave me some really good, not hope, because I don't need hope, but really good belief that we're going to be in good hands. I told them at the end that there's many things about their generation that I'm jealous of. Not a lot of things, but a few things for sure. But what a really fun day to spend. If you're not buying into or spending time with our kids right now, I'd encourage you to do so. I don't care if that's coaching, volunteering, whatever that is. There's some real talent out there, and we're going to be okay. I know every generation blames the next generation. What cracks me up about that is, isn't it my generation that raised the next generation? So if we don't like the next generation, isn't that our fault? I don't know. The same thing with my parents. They used to complain about our generation. Isn't that their fault? I digress. That's a problem for another time. Looking at the real estate numbers, check this out. Right now, we have 5,180 homes on the market here in the Triangle. 5,180, that's for 16 counties. Think about that number for just a second. That number in 2019, which was the last normal market we had, was 8,167 today. So now we're at 5,180. That is the highest amount of homes we've had on the market since early February of this year. Crazy, right? Inventory is rising. But is it? The lowest we got since February was only 4,720. In other words, about 350 less homes. We have been so stagnant in terms of inventory. And inventory, what I mean by that, for those of you, that's really a phrase that we in the real estate industry use. Inventory means homes for sale. How many homes are available to be purchased right now? And so when I say inventory, that's what I mean. Guys, it has been the same number for months on end. Everybody is waiting. Yes, we're having a little less, again, another real estate term, velocity, meaning absorption, meaning homes that have sold. That continues to decline slightly, meaning the market is softening in terms of activity. That being said, once those interest rates tick and change, I say this every week to you. Every single week I mention this. That investor money is going to come back in. People are going to start listing their homes again. And when that happens, prices are going to go up dramatically. Deposits are going to go up dramatically. And investors are going to make things nearly impossible for first and second time home buyers. If you are considering a purchase now, whether it be an investment property, whether it be a first, second time purchase, whatever that is, buy at today's prices, refinance at tomorrow's rates. I tell you this, and I don't want to spend your money, but I tell you this, that if you are going to buy a home, do not wait. All indications are 2024, at some point, those rates are going to plummet, and when they do, and I'm not talking about 2.75 rates anymore, 3.125 rates. I'm talking about back into the fives, maybe into the fours. When that happens, prices will go up. If you're interested at all talking about the market, and even whether if you're in Raleigh, call us. We'd love to work with you. There's a lot of really great realtors here. But if you're anywhere else in the country, call us anyhow. We've got great partners everywhere to help you with that. But find somebody that you can trust that really understands the market. Let us know how we can help you. For those of you that I don't see on a regular basis, but check in every single week, thank you for being here. And I'll catch you guys in a week.